Okay, when it comes to dividend growth, two funds get brought up a lot: SCHD and FDVV. And if you've been researching these funds, you may have seen something like this. Why are people obsessed with SCHD when FDVV is better in almost every way? And honestly, that is a fair question, because if you look at the recent performance, FDVV looks like the winner. But what if I told you that despite the question, when I did my research, SCHD returned 197.39% versus FDVV at 197.02%. Basically, the same return? Let's slow down for a second. You might be saying to yourself, Bob, you're telling me that we're talking about different sectors, different strategies, even different risk profiles, and they end up in the same place. That doesn't make any sense. So either this is a coincidence or timing, or there's something deeper going on that we're going to unpack in today's video. Here's what most investors do. I'll be honest, I did it in my early years as well. You look at the 1-year return, maybe the 3-year, and if you're really into it, maybe the 5-year. And then you pick your ultimate winner ETF or stock. But that's not how you build wealth. That's how you chase performance. Now, I've gone from negative $100,000 in net worth to becoming a millionaire. And I can tell you that the biggest mistakes don't come from picking bad investments. They actually come from switching at the wrong time and ignoring the importance of the strategies that we're going to discuss in today's video. And by the end of this video, you'll see the real truth behind the Fidelity High Dividend ETF alongside of the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, and which one could be better for you based on your portfolio goals. So let's actually compare these the way that most people tend to do. We'll start with the 1 year. You can see the 1 year, 15.18% versus 14.04. I go to 3 years, 59.06% on FDVV versus 39.82%. Even the 5 year. Look at the 5 year for a second, 82% on FDVV versus 49.79%. Now, if we stop the video right here, FDVV, it wins, hands down. But we're not going to stop here, are we? There's a lot more that we need to unpack, especially as we look back to my 197% that I just mentioned. FDVV, SCHD are both powerhouse funds, but the mechanisms behind them may surprise some of you. And I have a question for you as we get started. Why do you invest in the first place? Or why do you want to start investing? Comment below, let your voice be heard. I'm very curious on why people are investing. And don't make it shallow like I just want to get rich. Why do you want to get rich? What does that allow you to do in the future? That's what I want to understand. So let's start with the basic mechanics under the hood of this vehicle. We're going to start with FDVV. The top 10 holdings or companies that make up this particular ETF are NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Broadcom, etc. You can see them all here on the screen. And you can see that the sector breakdown here is focused primarily on technology, followed by financials. Now, looking at SCHD, you're going to see a little bit difference. Chevron, ConocoPhillips, Merck & Company, and Verizon in the top. The sector starts with staples, healthcare, and energy. And this is where rookie investors mess up. They compare these like they're the same thing. This is like comparing an apple tree to an orange tree. An apple tree obviously produces one type of fruit. An orange tree obviously produces something completely different. So why are we comparing them like they're the same fund? We shouldn't be. Which brings us to an important part. We need to understand the overlap. So check this out. So look at this. We're only talking about a 14% fund overlap by weight. So only 18 of the same stocks will be found in both FDVV and SCHD. Look at the sector drift. Just like we looked at earlier, right? You're leaning more toward the energy. You're leaning more toward the safer, less volatile type of companies, the value companies, if you will, in a fund like SCHD versus FDVV, focus more on the growth, technology, financials, utilities, etc. So that brings us back to the question: if they're so different, why are the returns basically the same? Now we're getting to the part that gets a little bit more interesting. What I love about both of these funds is that they actually have track records. Unlike some of the most recent funds we've talked about, we actually have enough runtime now to at least look at the last 5 years. In fact, we're actually super close to 10 years with FDVV, which will celebrate its decade in September of 2026. Happy birthday. So let me show you exactly what I mean, starting with SCHD. Using Seeking Alpha, we want to look at the dividend growth. We want to make sure that our dividend growth fund is doing exactly what I just said, dividend growth, right? We want to make sure that we're not getting scammed out of a good deal necessarily. So over the last 5 years, in fact, SCHD has a little bit of an unfair advantage right now until September because it does have a 10-year trajectory. Look at that. From 2016, annual dividend of 42 cents up to now, an annual dividend of 105 per share. And that's what we want to see, the annual payout growth year after year after year going up in some type of positive manner. So 11%, 17%, 3%, 12%, etc. That is healthy. That's what we want to see. Now, let's move over to FDVV and see how its dividend growth is looking. So we're super duper close on the 10-year, but we'll look at 5-year for now. You can see that there's a little bit of growth, but there's a little bit of bouncing around. And that's something to keep in mind if you're a dividend investor and you're looking for growth. Just keep in mind there are some years, unfortunately 2020 and 2024, where it didn't necessarily grow its annual payout growth. That doesn't mean that this is a terrible ETF that you should absolutely avoid. Remember, apple and orange tree. And we're going to get to that as we go through a little bit more of the simulations and how it actually impacts your portfolio positively or potentially negatively. But overall, this isn't bad. Even though you have 2 years, it unfortunately does mean that its dividend growth isn't as consistent as SCHD. Now, this is where most people miss something absolutely huge. They're focused on the yield, but not how that yield grows over time. And that is also where yield on cost is important to understand alongside of the dividend growth. So let's take a look at that as well. Hopping over first, FDVV on the dividend yield. So the yield on cost. Basically what that means is 0 years. Right now, you purchased on 330, your yield on cost is 3%, dividend yield of 3%. You scroll over time, if you've been owning this for at least 5 years, back on 2021, your yield on cost is 4.63%. Remember those numbers. Let's hop on over to our buddy SCHD, pop on to that, the yield on cost, and we'll compare the same amount of time here. If you purchase on 330, 3.48%, comparatively to back in 2021, 4.34%. Now, one thing to keep in mind with yield on cost, if you're going to use this in your overall assessment of your own portfolio, I assume you're not all going to buy right here in back here actually in 2021. Or if we go to the 10-year, you're not coming back here to a yield on cost of 7.94% and assuming I bought on April 4th, 2016, everything's good. You're probably going to do dollar cost averaging. You're going to be buying on a cadence. So the best thing I would recommend is calculate your own yield on cost. Theoretically, with a dividend growth fund, like SCHD, you should see your yield on cost, regardless if you're DCAing or not, grow over time. That's the goal. That's what we want. Now, another great calculator is thedividendtracker.com. I'll include a link in the description below. You can actually plug in your entire portfolio, including all the individual times that you purchased whatever dividend ETF that you've bought, and it'll give you an entire portfolio yield on cost. And then you can kind of see how you're doing in this perspective. But what we've done up to this point is really just looked at past performance. Now, I don't want to look at just past performance, so I tested it. I ran thousands of simulations. You know I love doing this if you've been watching the channel any period of time, using the Monte Carlo simulation, because again, past performance doesn't always equal future results. We have to look further than the basic info to be smart investors. In this simulation, I actually gave FDVV the advantage because it does have a higher expected return because of its makeup. Its sector is focused on higher growth than the value of SCHD. And what surprised me the most was not what I expected. We're going to say you have a portfolio of $100,000 over 20 years. And by the way, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, I got a quick question for you that watch me a lot. Would it be cool if I did more simulations like this and maybe even helping you simulate your own portfolio? It's something that I've been looking into. probably will be something with like a membership, like a YouTube membership. If you're interested in that, I'll make it super cheap. We'll have a lot of fun. And that way I can dedicate more time to you. Just let me know in the comments. But until then, we're just going to say you have 100,000 invested in both SCHD, FDVV over the course of 20 years. We can always adjust this. We can do 10 years. We can say that you only invested $10. We could say that you contribute on a regular basis, which is what I actually prefer, even though we're looking today at just a simple $100,000 invested. But regardless, let's take a look. Now, the importance and the embracing of the 10th percentile is so important here. So this is the worst case scenario. This means life is awful from an investing perspective. It's a flat period. It's a lost decade. It's nothing but corrections and crashes. Everything's, the sky's falling. Let's take a look here. Your $100,000 over 20 years grows to a measly $207,000 with the SCHD fund, and then to a measly $185,678 with FDVV. I am not surprised there because just like when we look at powerhouse growth funds, they tend to underperform in the 10th percentile versus a value fund like SCHD. So all is good there. Now let's look at 50th and 90th percentile. Again, this does not surprise me either. FDVV should outperform SCHD in really good scenarios. 50th is 463 versus 482. At 90th percentile, everything's amazing. The stock market is ripping. We're making tons of money. We're all feeling good. 998 versus $1.195 million. Beautiful, right? Here is the vital truth about embracing that 10th percentile. If your strategy only works when everything goes perfectly, and that's all you're worried about in the stock market, it's probably not a great strategy. So let me show you what actually happens. Let's say FDVV outperforms, you switch, and then the cycle rotates. Now SCHD catches up, and you just locked in the wrong move. And most investors don't lose money because they pick bad ETFs. They lose money because they literally sell their ETF to buy a better performing ETF, and then they sell that ETF to buy into the original ETF when it starts performing better. I see this a lot. Please, I'm begging you, stop it. Stop doing that. Instead, focus on a consistent plan and ride or die. I mean, think about it this way. Let's say you started buying SCHD back in 2025. Oh, what a terrible, boring ETF this is, right? Down, 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 boring. Everything else is outperforming. You get sick of it, and you thought, man, I wish I would have bought FDVV instead. But before you go selling SCHD, why not just start investing into FDVV instead? So for example, you consistently invest, let's say $100 a month into SCHD and start getting a little bit worried. Maybe you're annoyed at the performance. Well, maybe for the next couple of months, convert that $100 contribution into FDVV instead. Or better yet, do a 50-50 split, 50 into SCHD, 50 into FDVV. Can you invest more? Then invest more, that's fine. In fact, let's think about that. How would a portfolio split look like into SCHD and FDVV together? Now, we're going to keep the assumptions the same so we can compare it to what we already have up on the screen here. But over the 20 years, now look, the 10th percentile, the worst case now goes to 193. Obviously, it's balancing the difference between FDVV and SCHD. 473 on the 50th and $1.1 million on the 90th percentile. So this brings up an interesting point. Could this be something that is a complementary thing as opposed to being this versus that, or it has to only be this or that? This is something to really keep in mind and something that I encourage you doing anytime you're doing ETF research, or you're just looking at your portfolio and you're like, am I making the right moves to make sure that I am growing my portfolio in the best way for financial independence? This is the type of things that you can look at to say, is this meeting my goal or not? Here's the real question. What role does SCHD or FDVV play in your portfolio? FDVV, to start off, is going to give you your growth plus your income. It does have higher upside, which is fantastic. But of course, with that comes more volatility, which is why we saw a lower performing 10th percentile on our Monte Carlo simulations. SCHD, that comes with stability. It comes with consistency. It comes with income growth. But now here is the killer question about FDVV. If you already are buying the S&P 500, for example, whether that's VOO or SPY, you might be getting more of what you already have with a fund like FDVV. So that's also something to think about in your portfolio. So for example, if we look at FDVV versus VOO, which is the S&P 500 fund, and we look at their overlap, we have 81 of the 120 companies represented in FDVV already in the fund VOO, the S&P 500. This represents a total of 41% overlap. But if you compare SCHD to VOO, because SCHD is focused on a different type of index, the fund overlap by weight is only 7% in this case. But, FDVV and VOO doesn't mean that is the exact same ETF. Remember that the weighting of FDVV will always lean toward more dividend payers than an overall S&P 500 fund. This is why something like Fidelity's dividend fund has a higher yield than VOO or SPY. So back to the question, what role does SCHD or FDVV play in your particular portfolio? This is where we're going to bring up the chart that I shared at the very beginning of the video. You remember that the same percentage? Just because we see similar returns comparing FDVV to SCHD, there are going to be trade-offs. Take a look at this. When growth is strong and things are going well in that category, so to speak, FDVV will outperform, as you see right here on the chart. But when the market starts rotating, which we've seen during 2020, 2022, and of course, most recently here in 2026, what a wild ride. But you're going to see during those periods, SCHD rises above FDVV. This does not make one ETF better than the other. This is not what I'm talking about in this video. So let's make sure we keep that in mind. What it does mean, what this graph helps us with, is that both of these funds could actually be a great partnership together to weather the storms while basking in the sunlight during the market activity. That's what we want. And the best part? Receiving income through dividends, which for certain investors, especially those nearing retirement or those people that just appreciate the value of dividend growth, hey, you're absolutely in an epic position. The bottom line is because we've gone through enough periods over the last 5 to 6 years to give a little bit of tilt to the value and a little bit of tilt to the growth. And that's why they equal the same thing. Now, there's going to be periods we look back on. Let's say, for example, 2027, the market is just going all the way to the moon. FDVV and SCHD over their entire lifespan, well, FDVV is going to win. Let's say the other thing happens, right? Like the market is crashing. It's 2026, but just longer and more painful. SCHD most likely will outperform FDVV. But these two cats together, oh, my friend, I mean, think about it. You're trading one for the other, and at the end of the day, you're still looking strong in your portfolio. Give me your thoughts down in the comments below. But there's something interesting about the SCHD fund that most people just don't seem to understand. And it's that even though it does have a low yield compared to maybe some other dividend ETFs, the growth of this fund is actually remarkable over long times. We talk about this vital detail in this video that you can watch next. Keep building your Sharpe money, and we'll see you on the next video.